Renters are peasants, and I mean that literally. Today's topic is going to be a little sensitive. It could be a little triggering for some of you. So, for those of you who are offended, please go ahead and skip this one. But for us to educate people, we have to be honest. We have to tell you guys the truth. Renters are peasants. A peasant is a skilled laborer who rents the land from the Lord using the money they get from their labor. That is what you are. You are the mechanics, you are the construction workers, you are the hardworking people of America with a skill who applies that to a labor, and you take that money from that skill and you head it to a lord for your land. That's why they call them landlords. They still call them lords, they just changed your name from peasant to renter. Today we're going to explain why that is, and we're going to try to help you understand the situation that you're stuck in. As always, I'm here with Bill, our lender, Alexandra, everybody with real estate experience.
Don't say Alex.
Don't say Alex. Don't say Alex. So, Bill, I believe in my heart of hearts, renters are peasants with better publicity, right? It's no different than how we call them executive assistants, but they still do the same jobs as a secretary. Nothing's changed. When you watch Mad Men, what does that woman do? She gets the coffee. She gets yelled at when the boss is angry. She sets his schedule. She is a secretary, right? What's the difference between that and an executive assistant? I believe peasants and renters are in the same situation. Peasants were born into peasantry. Their children were born into peasantry. Their grandchildren were born into peasantry. What's the difference between a renter who is born into renting, currently rents, and has a kid who is going to be a renter? What's the difference?
Why were they born into peasantry?
They were born into peasantry.
And why did they stay there?
Now we're asking some deep topics in terms of how people view poverty, how people get stuck in poverty. But typically it's because those who are lords have the leverage over those who are peasants.
They're
right?
never able to get ahead.
They're never able to get ahead. How, and this is why I know this topic can be offensive, but some of you need to be offended. Some of you need to have your hearts broken so the message can get through to you. How can you ever get ahead when the Lord is profiting from what you're paying him to rent his land?
And the Lord doesn't want you to get ahead,
Ever.
obviously.
Ever. The second you start making more money, the Lord charges more money. Isn't this true? Doesn't your rent go up every year? Every time the Lord realizes you're making more money or saving more money, they do everything in their power to take that money from you because they only make money as you keep renting their land. They need you to keep renting their land or they don't make money.
Yeah.
Right?
I just don't like the word peasant. Honestly, it's not a good word. And I think that, I don't think that they should always just relegate themselves to saying I'm a peasant.
Yeah.
I think they should go figure it out.
But
And there's ways to figure it out.
We live in a world where people care more about words than actions. And this is the reason why I'm okay with being the bad guy. I'm okay with being the villain here, right? Because people calling themselves renters makes it feel like they have some sort of part in the home, right? It makes them feel like this home partly is theirs. And they need to know the truth. Your landlord doesn't see you as a partner. You are a customer. You are profit. You are a tax write-off. My biggest thing I like to tell people is, if renting was so valuable, why don't landlords rent their own home? Why would they ever buy the home? Why wouldn't they just rent it, right? Because if your landlord is charging you $2,000, his mortgage is probably $1,500, right? Why doesn't he just rent the place for $1,500? Right?
Right.
He could.
Renters peasants never have an answer to that question. Why does the Lord just not rent his own land?
I want to chime in because I think that a lot of times peasants or serfs, whatever we want to call them.
Peasants.
Okay. I think a lot of times they don't know that there is another option. And so they're just stuck in the mindset. This is what my parents did. This is what I'm doing. And they don't associate, like you said, we're caught up in a society that's more concerned with the language
Yep.
than actual actions.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a house. I moved out. I'm not with mom. So I got my crib.
Yep.
I'm good. I can start a family. I can do these things. But yeah, it's very, very unfortunate that people are stuck in this peasant mindset of, okay, well, I'll just continue. Or they're spending their money on other things.
Correct.
They pull up in a new car. They pull up with new sunglasses. They pull up with a new handbag, right? It's being spent in other ways, basically to the Lord.
Yeah. Well, peasants loved going to the bar and getting hammered, right? They loved buying a new thing, a shiny toy whenever they
Go to
could.
the goldsmith or the silversmith.
Yeah, the local tavern, the local pub,
Yeah.
get hammered with the boys, right? Spend our money there, right? Now, I'm not going to pretend like there are zero advantages to renting, because I'm not going to pretend like there was zero advantages to being a peasant. It may be uncomfortable for people to talk about, right? But peasants didn't have any sort of responsibility. They had to make, as long as the Lord was getting their financial, they weren't
Their
responsible
money.
for the land.
They're Peter Pan. They don't have to
100%.
grow up.
They don't have to grow. Well, peasants had, I actually have more respect for peasants in the 1600s than I do for people today, because at least they tended to the land. At least they farmed the land. At least they kept the land in proper order. How many renters destroy houses?
Yeah.
How many renters don't value the land that they are given?
Yeah, you'd lose your hand if you didn't. So you had to.
Yeah,
You can't do that now.
There was a bit more financial
You don't
burden.
want to be in the guillotine over there.
Right? So, Bill, let's be honest with them, because you deal with the financial side of all this. What are some of the advantages of people who are renting? What do they avoid that homeowners are obligated towards?
Well, if something goes wrong on the house and it's in the lease, they can have the landlord go fix it.
Yep.
But sometimes good luck getting the landlord to fix it.
Yeah.
It makes it a little bit difficult. They don't have to pay real estate taxes. It's all included in their rent. So
Yeah.
they have just one little payment to basically they have to make. It's, I just don't know if they should. Brandon, you're pumping me up here.
I'm sorry,
You're getting
man.
me upset because I don't think
Gaylord's getting upset.
so. That 60% of the nation are homeowners.
Yeah.
That means there's around 40%. I mean, those are rough numbers, but 40% are renters. And if the 60%, granted, there's people like me, baby boomers, and maybe some people who got in early.
Yeah.
But there were still sacrifices no matter what. There are still baby boomers who are renters.
Yes.
And so I just don't, I think mindset, I think game plan, I think education in regards to the financial side of it. I think those things, I don't think the renters need to be renters. Not every renter needs to be a renter.
Sure, but the Lord is never going to teach the peasant how to become the Lord, is he?
No, but there are other people that know how to help them get educated and understand and get these things. And I met with somebody just the other day, Brandon, and it was like, Bill, my credit is shit.
Yeah.
I have really bad credit. I don't have any money saved. I do want to, I'm just tired of renting. How do I get out of this? And I say, do you have any kind of a game plan? Is there anyone holding you accountable to really get to the point where you can become a renter?
Yeah.
No. Become a homeowner. She said, no. I said, if I hold you accountable and we meet every month and I give you a game plan to get there, will you get there? She goes, yes, I need someone to hold me accountable and someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to work with her. And she may not be able to buy for, it doesn't matter, 3 years. She may never buy.
This is where I have to be the bad guy again. How many people, and let's just be honest, how many people have you and I spent our time and our efforts to teach them how to not be a peasant, to show them what happens when you leave peasantry behind? How many people have we spent time with on their credit, their finances, saving money who go right back to being peasants. Even with the education, even with the help, even with the knowledge, they choose peasantry because being a lord is hard.
It's hard.
They also believe they're not deserving of it. And that's why they go back.
Well, I don't think it's that they are deserving of. I mean, maybe that's it. I don't agree.
Okay.
I think
You don't agree that they're deserving of it, or that they,
No, I
think that?
They
They
are.
th-
Everyone's deserving to
everyone's
be a homeowner.
deserving.
Oh,
to be
no.
a
Absolutely.
homeowner.
That's part of the American
No, no,
dream.
no. Oh, so now I'm going to get in big trouble. I don't believe that whatsoever. The same people who think that we deserve free health care, like, I'm fat, right? I'm going to cost way more to the healthcare system than you guys, right? Why do I deserve the same healthcare that you do? That's crazy to me. I'm more expensive than you guys, right? Why do people who don't want to work hard, don't want to save money,
Okay.
want to live frivolously, what makes them deserve a home? You didn't get a home doing
No,
that.
I can
right?
tell you that I worked my whole life.
Yeah.
And sometimes people do not want to do the things to become a homeowner.
What about the boomers who wanted to be hippies? They're still renting in their 50s and 60s now.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of hippies turned they became yuppies and all that stuff, but people act like every single boomer owned a home when it's just not true if you look at it statistically. A lot of them chose the peasant lifestyle, right?
Yeah, I think part of it, you mentioned it, part of it is lifestyle, what you spend your money on, where you go. I think part of it is just maybe they're thinking they're relegated to being a renter. And I think the other part is they just don't know what to do, and they have no one leading them into a home ownership.
Sure. I was stuck in that situation. My parents rented. Their parents rented, right? I'm the first person in generations to own a home. And for a lot of Black Americans, that's true. A lot of Black millennials are the first homeowners in the existence of their family, right? I'm talking about 2, 3, 4 generations of renters. Obviously, before that, we were slaves, but 2, 3, 4 generations of renters, right? And did your parents own a home growing up?
Yes.
So you had not just the knowledge, but you had the firsthand experience of what it felt like to have like the safety, the comfort, the security of a home,
Correct.
right? Imagine being born into peasantry.
So how did you get to become a homeowner? What did you do basically to move yourself from a renter to a homeowner?
The first thing I did is decided I was done being a peasant. I was done working hard but feeling like a loser. Before I did anything, before the money saving, before the credit building, before any of the financial stuff,
So that goes back to the belief. You believed that you could be something different.
I 100% believed I was better than my situation.
Right.
Believed.
Believed.
Not hoped, not prayed.
Right.
100% believed I was better than my station. Maybe that's ego, maybe that's narcissism. I don't know what it is, but without that, I would not have gotten here, right?
No, you'd still be a renter.
What I tell people I'd be a peasant.
Peasant.
You're not a renter, you're a peasant. I'm
You'd
going
be
to
a
drive
peasant.
this home. I'm not going to let you escape the fact that you live exactly the way peasants did. When you watch Game of Thrones and you see those people with like the torn tunics and the dirt on their face, that's you. That's quite literally you. Even though you have AC, even though you have Uber Eats, you're the kid with dirt on his face with the torn frock who the Lord sends to get his water or his bed chamber or whatever. That's you. That's quite literally
That
you.
has to steal a piece of bread.
100%. That's you. I cannot let this slide. That's who you are. Once I decided I was no longer going to be a peasant, that's when I started saving money. That's when I started doing research on how lords got to being a lord. Because every lord wasn't born into a lord. Some of them were peasants who became lords. How did they do it? How did they go from rich to poor or from poor to rich, right? I started researching, reading books, figuring out how they did it. Turns out 72% of Americans who are millionaires did it through real estate. So I'm an agent. And then I bought a house. And now we're here teaching other people, right?
You got educated. You changed habits. You changed what you did.
But
And-
there's no societal pressure on people to do what I did. Uh-oh.
No, because I want to go back to, because when I said, people deserve the opportunity to be a homeowner,
Yeah.
because that's kind of what we're talking on. People, I believe every American has the opportunity
Yes.
to be a homeowner.
Yeah, best country on earth. The best country on earth.
If you are an American, you have the opportunity to do this. And I think that is amazing, amazing opportunity to be able to own dirt here.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, not everybody wants to do it. Not everybody wants to take it on. Not everybody, some people just want to call their Lord and say, hey, can you, my drain's not working. They want to call so-and-so, hey, change a light bulb for me. So they are not willing to do, they want to stay in the mindset of the peasant. They want to be a peasant.
It's the convenience tax.
The convenience, yeah. And it's uncomfortable
Sure.
to step out and do something different. Well,
Yes.
if owning a home is something that your parents didn't do, or you haven't been in that situation, or maybe you think, oh, well, will my parents think I'm strange or weird, or will they think I'm trying to be better than them, or will my friends no longer want to be with me because now I'm a homeowner? Hey guys, I can't go out. I'm not going to go out this weekend. I'm not going to spend money on Uber Eats. Nope, I'm going to bring my own lunch to work. Nope, I'm not going to go with you because I don't want to spend that money. You have to detach from that to change your mindset in order to change. But like we were saying, not everybody wants to do it.
You hit the nail on the head. And one of the big things I teach homeowners, first-time buyers, is you're going to lose friends in this process because your friends want to keep you a renter. It's the same way, don't get offended. I have a girl in the room. It's the same way single girls love to keep their girlfriends single, right? They want the shared misery together. Your renter friends want to keep you a renter because they don't want to ever feel like you're better than them. So they'll keep you ordering Uber Eats. They'll keep you going out late into a Friday, Saturday when you have work or other things to do. They'll keep you drinking. They'll keep you spending your money and doing everything you can to stay a peasant. Right? Because there's nothing peasants hate more than when one of the other peasants escapes.
The Cinderella story.
100%.
Right.
Because now they feel bad about being peasants.
I'm stuck here. I didn't move on. I couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it.
Yes.
I didn't make the change.
Yes.
Absolutely.
People's favorite thing on social media is to say, we can't do this. No one can do this. Right? So when one of the peasants escapes peasantry, they can no longer say, we can't do this. Now they're forced to say, I can't do this. And
you take on the responsibility.
100%. As long as they believe everyone is in the same peasant situation, they're comfortable with it, right? You're uncomfortable. You're comfortable being a certain lifestyle as long as everyone around you is living that same lifestyle, right?
A lot of it too is language. Oh, I'll try and buy a home someday.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, try. What does that mean? Or I can't buy a home. Or, but I want to buy a home, but I can't afford it, right? It's looking at it as like, no, you can buy a home. And right now, it's not something that's affordable for you, but we can work on it.
Bill, are we wrong here?
Are we? Yeah, are we?
No, I think part of it, like I met with someone earlier today
Okay.
and we were talking about trying to get into the home.
Yeah.
And she had about a $400 a month car payment.
Yeah.
Car broke down traveling to Las Vegas. She had to get a new one. The new one, the payment is over $1,000. So the question is, could that have been a lower car payment
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and sacrificed to buy a house?
Yeah.
You know, the savings that could potentially go in $1,000, some of that could have gone into savings
Yeah.
to have for down payment, for closing costs. And that now that car on there is like a 3-year, 4-year lease. That's kind of she's stuck with.
Yeah. One of the big things
So choices is part of it.
You're right. But listen, I grew up poor. I grew up poor as shit, okay? I understand that every time you try to escape peasantry, something bad seems to happen. I was there, right? You try to save credit, but then you lose your job, and now you have to put everything on your credit cards. Oh, I'm finally doing good. COVID hits. All my money's gone, right? I've been there where it feels like every time you get close to getting somewhere, the car light's on. Now I got to fix my car. Oh, my kid's sick. Now I got, right? Life happens. Life is never going to stop throwing these curveballs your way. But the poorer you are, the harder it is to deal with these curveballs. Again, I'm always going to be honest with people. The poorer you are, the harder it is to escape peasantry. There are so many roadblocks and obstacles in your way to stop you from getting there, right? but you still got to get there anyways.
Did you have somebody to follow?
No, I did this all on my own. It's crazy to say that. Like, I was just having this conversation with my wife. I am a weird person. I did this with like
Grit
my body
and determination.
Yeah, 100%. Like
Yeah.
that's why I got freaking a head full of gray hairs in my 30s, because like what it took me to get here, people wouldn't believe. People wouldn't believe that I was homeless, taking an hour and a half bus to the strip there and back so I could work double shifts at the nightclub and day club 7 days a week, or whenever we were 5 days a week during summer. People wouldn't believe that. Most people nowadays would be like, oh, I don't have a car. I can't get there at home. Okay, well, I didn't have a car. So I took the bus both ways, right? Like that's just life.
So when did you become a believer in yourself? When did you believe that you could do it? And how did you separate, if you will, from the renter mentality? Peasant mentality?
I've always had it. I was blessed to be born with a pretty good brain. So I've always believed that I could genuinely be whatever I wanted, right?
It also sounds like you had good parenting.
Oh, I did. Parents are awesome.
Yeah, it sounds
What?
like you had parents that weren't like, oh, but you didn't pass your test today. It's okay.
Yeah.
They probably were like, no, you need to go back. Everyone else seemed to pass,
Yeah.
so let's go back.
That's a huge part of it.
Yeah, you had good parenting.
I don't want to lie and pretend like there are zero advantages to renting, right? Because when we talk about peasants versus lords, what we're talking about on a purely fiscal level. The lord will continue to make money. The peasant will continue to spend money. It's a purely fiscal conversation we're having here. And everyone needs to know that. There are some advantages to renting. If you're someone who lives a flexible lifestyle, you like to travel, you like to move around from place to place, guess what? Renting might be in your best interest. I get that.
I disagree.
Oh,
I totally disagree with
how
that.
so?
Because renting, you're basically, you can buy a house,
Okay.
right? And if you want to travel, find a renter for your house while you go travel.
Sure.
Go do that.
But there is the problem of a down payment, right? If you're someone who likes to travel and spend your money on traveling, right, you might not be able to save up the $15,000 that you need for a 3.5% down payment.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you have the ability and you want to do that, you can do that. It's not like a rent, you have a lease.
Yeah.
So the lease, if you break the lease, you're going to be owing on the lease.
But you could have
then
a
you get
6-month
out of
lease.
it.
You could have a 6 month, a 3 month.
Yeah, you give a cheap studio or something like that.
But you
Yeah.
can do the same thing if you want to go travel. You just find a renter for the house,
Sure, but there's
and the house goes up in value.
see now you got me defending the peasant because I get it. When I was in my 20s, I wanted to experience life, right? I wanted to go places. I wanted to do things. I wanted to have nice dinners. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to meet people. I wanted to do one day I'm going to the beach in California, right? And that costs money. And sometimes you don't want to do things the cheap way. Sometimes you want to see what the other side lives like, you know? And it's hard to balance that with the $15,000 I need to save to buy this house. And even once you spend the $15,000, there's still mortgage, there's still taxes, there's still home warranties. You still got to pay these things, right? So I'm not here to say that being the Lord is easy. There are consequences. There are things that are going to suffer in your life, right? Renters do have a flexibility and a lifestyle variety that homeowners don't have at the very beginning.
I think what boils it down here, one word is responsibility. Lords have responsibility.
Yes,
Renters don't.
yes, yes.
So why do peasants complain all the time if they want to be a peasant?
Oh man, you guys are gonna hit me with some curveballs. Okay, you know we told you guys this would be a sensitive topic. We told you guys this would be a sensitive topic,
Let's
right?
see what we do.
Anybody who watches Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
there's a character named Daenerys Targaryen, and her most famous line to me is they say, she's liberating this city, right? And she's killed all the masters, and the slaves are standing there, and her army is wondering why the slaves don't rush forward. And she says, some people learn to love their chains, right? The people who complain most about the government take the most government checks, right? The people who complain most about the cost of housing spend their money on anything that isn't housing. And I used to do this too. I tell the story I've all told on this podcast. I used to work at the Wynn nightclub. Sometimes I would have legitimately $1,500, $1,800 in my pocket that night. And I would spend it before I left work. Before I left the casino, I would spend that money.
Because you didn't know any different.
Because I didn't know
You
any
didn't know
better.
what it was like to go put it over here or change your life.
100%. I was stuck in that peasant mindset of like, I've missed out on so many things in my life. I'm going to get them.
Now.
I need them right now. Immediate gratification. Right?
It was a victim mindset.
Right? So ultimately what I want to do, and the reason I'm so harsh is because what we need is a redefinition of success. When we say the Lord owning a home, we don't mean you have to go buy a $500,000 Zillow flip home. That's crazy for your first home. If your first home is a condo or a townhome that's under $300,000, maybe $350,000, to me, you're still successful. You're still gaining equity. You've still avoided the fact that your landlord has power over you. And to me, that's my definition of success. Every time I can take power back from the Lord, I feel like I've gotten just a little bit more successful, right? What do you think, Bill?
I agree. I think that, if they get into the mindset, they can find something, they buy it. I think it just changes. It can change their whole life, honestly, just by owning real estate. And that potential, that property could potentially be moved into a different property. And then they find out but homeowners have more net worth, 40 times more net worth than renters.
Yeah.
And so they become more financially savvy when you become a homeowner. You start thinking about these things. You start thinking about the retirement and the 401ks and all that kind of stuff. So people starting somewhere is way better than never jumping in and trying.
Yeah.
In my
100%. 100%. Alexandra?
People are going to do what they want to do until they don't want to do it anymore. So people are going to be peasants until they don't want to be a peasant.
I could not agree with you more. Bill is nice, so he's always trying to give people excuses and ways out. And I'm like you. I don't give a shit about your excuses. The day you decide being the Lord is the most important thing in your world, that's when you take the first step.
And I would say you're not giving people enough credit.
That's a Bill
That's
answer.
that's me.
That's fair.
I just don't think you're giving enough credit.
Because of where
they can do it.
Because
they
of
just
where-
have to know how to do it.
That's true. That's true. But because of where I came from, I don't feel bad for nobody. Right? And maybe that's a flaw with me. And I get it. I'm never going to change, but I understand it might be a flaw with myself.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I have you here. Right? Because you actually care, right? If you like being a renter and you like it, you like the convenience, you like the flexibility, I'm okay with that. I'm just tired of people crying about the cost of housing. Right? To me, you can't have it both ways. If you care so much about the cost of housing and you're tired of being a peasant, do something about it.
Or you want to get ahead.
Do something about it.
You're going to do what you want to do until you don't want to do it anymore.
Until you don't want to do it anymore. I'm okay with you crying about it.
Until you don't want to.
Until you don't want to anymore. So.
And Brandon, I'm seeing a lot more multiple families joining together buying homes.
Yes.
So they're making it happen, not necessarily by the way they want to individually, but now they're combining family members to buy a home.
That's how peasants used to do it. Again, when I say the word peasant, I'm not saying it as an insult. I'm saying it to the core, to the truth. Family members, you have 3 or 4 kids. The reason they had so many kids is because the odds of one of them being very good at something, right? Or the odds of 2 of them being very good at something, started a business, blacksmithing business, cobbler business, courier service, right? The odds of the more kids you had, the odds of them doing something successful.
Something for you.
And now the whole house can buy a plot of land and become their own lord, right? I cannot repeat this enough. Nothing has changed between now and what you guys consider Game of Thrones times, the Middle Ages. They've put different names, different faces on it, but they're still lords who still get tax breaks from the king or the government for providing housing. There's still peasants who work their way up to lordship. Nothing has changed but the titles. And until we face this head on with the truth and we stop dancing around words, we stop hiding behind phrases and catchphrases and feelings, no one is going to hit the mindset that it takes to go from a peasant to a lord. So even though we disagreed a little bit today, I thank both of you guys for your time.
Thank you.
If I offended you, I don't care. But please let me know in the comments below how much of an idiot I am. You can make fun of my hairline, my weight, how I look, anything you want. I don't care. Leave it in the comments below. I will respond to you because, hey, I'm an asshole too, right? Bill, what is the best way for them to reach you?
Bill.gaylord.com. I'm sorry.
He's the Lord.
BillGaylord.com.
He's literally a lord.
Yeah.
He is the Lord.
I will, yeah, Gaylord. And or 858-776-6830. Come check me out.
Alexandra, not Alex. How do they reach you?
Alexandra, not Alex. Find me at Alexandra Herbushka on Instagram.
You should honestly change your Instagram name to Alexandra, not
Not
Alex. I'm Brandon from Vegas. You guys can reach me quite literally on any platform here on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Realtor, Zillow, whatever you want, just put it in there. If you guys want to talk to me directly, there's a link in my bio where you guys can contact me directly. If you just want to tell me how wrong I am or why renting is good or what I said that you believe is wrong, put it in the comments below. Like I said, I take time to respond to every comment. I will not be friendly with you, but I will respect your opinion. You have my word. Thank you guys for your time. Come and be my neighbor. Peace. Peace, 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 peace. My editors hate when I do this. Peace.